Let's move on to race number 2. Again, Class 5 is the quality. And the distance, we reduced by 400 metres down to 1200. Blade Racer, Kwai Chung Elite, Curling Luxury, Gouten of Garrow, My Dear, Majestic Endeavour and Happy Cooperation are all dropping in grade here. So very interesting with, of course, the readjustments regarding the ratings in the off-season. Horses that have been at Chun Fa, a lot of them as well. Blade Racer, Curling Luxury, My Dear, Rich City Fortune, who of course has the £10 claim for Alfie Chan, and Leisured Feet for Joe Moreira with the shadow roll back on. All right, Tom, how does this sort out early?
There's actually quite a few horses in this race that can lead. One of those leaders is Rich City Fortune with Leisured Feet, who didn't lead in a recent trial, but he has been known to race certainly handy through his career. Blade Racer led last start. You've got Gouten of Garrow, who could potentially get caught wide. Majestic Endeavour's another one that potentially could be handy. And Curling Luxury likes to race up on the speed as well. So no shortage of speed in this race.
This horse was at cricket score odds last start and ran his best race at the end of last season, running fourth in Class 4. He's now down to Class 5. Looks a bit hot in the mornings, but his gallops have been okay and he's quite forward. Rich City Fortune, you know what you're going to get with him. He's going to go to the front. There is a little bit of competition there, but look, this is his grade. Alfred Chan will take £10 off him, and he's forward. He's ready to run a good race, I think, is Rich City Fortune. And Leisured Feet, look, he's a recent trial winner up at Chung Fa. There's not as much pressure on some of those trials, but when he did win his race, it was fresh up. So maybe that's the key to this horse as well.
All right, well, just for weather followers too, we're expecting a fairly warm day in Hong Kong for the opening day of racing. So a good track, currently the situation, but potentially, I guess, a little chance of maybe an upgrade if it is a real steaming day. Blade Racer has his first run down into Class 5. A nice fourth behind Victorium. He led for a long way. Victorium looks a nice horse going forward.
Yeah, it definitely does. He won a couple of really good races, Victorium. Now, Blade Racer only faded late. He did do some pretty fast sectionals. I don't think they'll probably lead with him. He is down in grade, and this was his best run by miles when he did run fourth on this occasion. Just got pipped there for third, so it was a good run from him.
Yep, as Tom mentioned in the speed map, there is a lot of pace. Harbour Sentry is another horse that could potentially be vying for the lead. We know Never Better's a run-on. Generally, Golden Cannon is as well. Rich City Fortune's a front runner. And Adonis is a little bit of both, but his form at the end of last season was okay.
Yeah, this was Harbour Sentry's best race of his entire career when he ran second. He's had a recent trial for fourth. He hung out round the turn in this race. You've got Never Better there, who trialled up. We saw that trial a short time ago. He ran second in that. Golden Cannon, I don't think, has been going too badly either. 3 wins from his 39 starts. So, number of chances in this race. I certainly gave Golden Cannon a chance, and also Never Better.
Yeah, I'd definitely give Never Better a chance. And Rich City Fortune with that £10 claim as well, because if he gets his own way in front, which might not happen, but if he does, then he's a hard horse, as we've seen before, to run down. Harbour Sentry I've left out. I'm just worried he is a bleeder, this horse, but sometimes they're good fresh.
Yeah, it's a bit of a smorgasbord, this race, isn't it? You could pick a few, no doubt. Let's go to some track work and trials from Chun Fa, and Leisured Feet has now got down to an all-time low of 23 in the rating. Shadow roll on. Joe Moreira will jump aboard as well. My Dear led in this trial, but in the end, Leisured Feet had his measure.
Yeah, he did, and look, it was an improved run from him. As I say, there wasn't that much pressure in this trial. My Dear is running in this race as well. But look, it wasn't a bad run from him, and it's an interesting jockey booking.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Joe Moreira riding him, I probably wouldn't have put him in. Trial, hard to gauge a line on that, I think, because, as Paul mentioned, there's not a lot of pressure in those trials up there at Chung Fa sometimes.
He's definitely been a disappointing horse, because when he first arrived, Paul, he looked like he had something, didn't
he? No,
yeah.
He definitely did, yeah.
All right, tips from you, Paul?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Rich City Fortune on top. I think he'll get to the front, and he's a hard horse to get past. This is his grade, and he does go well fresh. Leisured Feet, again, with that one win fresh for him. Never Better was a great run from him. He got well back and ran on, and Happy Cooperation there for fourth. Look, he's 1 off 62, and he's down to a rating of 35. He's now with Manfred Mann, barrier 6. He has won at Sha Tin before. He might be one slightly over the odds, 12, 14, 7, 11.
12 on top of me as well. Rich City Fortune, claim, draw. Everything, I think, suits here. Rich City Fortune, if he gets taken on up front, that just might soften him up a little bit. Never Better goes in off a good trial, I thought. Golden Cannon and Leisured Feet. So 12, 7, 8 and 14.
I think it's tough. I'm going to shop for a bit of value. Kwai Chung Elite, Blake Shin's first ride. I'm going to side with him at a little bit of an each-way price in the Class 5. So the entree has been devoured. The 2 Class 5s are done. We're going to take a break. main course coming up.